Hi, this is another devlog for Unnatural Investigations. I just forgot which one this is. I ain't looking at my notes, but it's been a few days, actually a few weeks since the last one. Wanted to get a bunch of stuff to go over. We're at the stage now where it's less on new features and polishing old features, getting it ready. Announcement, little big announcement is the demo is coming next month for Steam's June Fest. I think it's the 13th through the 20th or something like that. And then the game early access version will be released in July. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh well, quick thing, added a few more characters, got some females in there, and got this Rambo looking dude, this dude here, female. Yeah, mostly for the multiplayer aspect, but in there. First thing, let's go to the test thing, and I was able to grab myself a new video card. Took forever, had waiting list and all that good stuff, but yeah, definitely difference, at least on my end. Might not show through the footage. There might be some screen tearing, I'm working on that, but anyways. Alright, so something that's new, let me make sure. Okay. At the bottom you can see this, the doors now all have random locked or not locked. This door is locked and it requires an engineer. So it gives the engineer another task in the maps. So lots of maps with houses and things like that have the potential to have doors locked, and you'll need the engineer to unlock them. And another thing to call out is, if you notice, when I tried to open it, I got a pop-up at the bottom with a little bit of hint. That's the start of the pop-up system, and that will be used for text references on not just doors and things you can interact with, but a lot of the objects in the world. Because it's one of the things I noticed, people were looking at stuff, trying to interact with it. This game is not a simulation. However, I didn't want to add a few of those. So if you go to certain things like clocks and whatnot, or anything, you may be able to interact with it. Find some information. Could be pointless, could be valuable, but it's something. Alright, the door lock system is the same. Once you do it, you can unlock it and open it, whatever. So that was that part of the system. Alright, now you can see here some bloody handprints are crawling down the wall. That brings us into the next topic, which is the jump scare system. It kind of a unique system, being that it is a multiplayer and you're going to be playing these levels over and over again. So to integrate something in there like that is a little bit tricky, because it's not like a single player game or a linear game where you're going through the level and getting it done. You're gonna come back to these levels a lot. So the first thing, these are hard coded in terms of when they fire, but the system is set up so that there's a random chance for every single one of these events, and it's set up in such a way that you may see them often, you may not, but it should be random enough so it's not. So it may even make it a little bit more scary, because you might expect something to happen and it doesn't. So that is that, and more so on the system. Big change with it is, when I originally created the system, I knew what I wanted to do, but you implement systems in and you build upon them. So the original system worked on a trigger system. So there would be, if I had done this originally, there would be a invisible box here with some code on it, and then when you walked into it, it would detect that the player walked here, and it would trigger the event. So an event like this and some other ones, it perfect, and there's no flaws to it. However, say for this event there's supposed to be some head that pops up there, and it was trigger based. Well, based off of player experience, feedback that I've gotten, or I've watched some players play, some players may walk up the steps like this and immediately run over here and go in here. And then that event would have fired, they wouldn't have even saw it, and it's almost like a waste. So I pondered a little bit to figure out what was the best solution for jump scares, and so it's kind of a hybrid approach. So some jump scares, like essentially that one, trigger would still work good. I could put the trigger here, and by the time you get up here, you're gonna hear the blood, and then you'll see that. And even if you don't see it right off the bat, when you come out, you'll notice it, which might even make it even scarier. However, the other thing that it came up with is more of a look point. So, same thing I do with triggering doors and such like that. There's an invisible ray that's broadcast essentially right where the camera is, so your eyes, and it shoots a ray out. Now I have it integrated into the jump scares so that I can define how far away I need to be while looking at the object to essentially cause it to trigger. So I have an example. Let's see. Oh, door's locked. Again, all these doors are random too for a lock. So it also adds a little bit more time, which fills the gap of emptiness and gives the engineer something to do. Alright, so there are 3 jump scares in here. I'm looking right here, but alright. Now, there are different types of jump scares. The first one, which probably won't be to hear because the sound off, but if you see that picture, looking at it from I guess about 4 or 5 feet away, something like that. When I got right about there, it was a sound effect, and then there's this picture. Again, just not doing nothing, but I get a close look at it. Blood shot out. Alright, and that is again a different one, and then there's this one. Rudimentary in general, but functionality is there and it works quite well. So I can essentially put the script on any object that I want. If I want to call a sound, it's quite easy, and however far away I want it to trigger, I can make the sound 3D and all that good stuff. Then I have this one, which is a combination of the sound, and it has a FX. So like this one is blood squirts out. And I can again call it from anything. This one a little more complex in terms of how it works, but essentially what this one is literally just a sound effect and an animation. This falling out here is just a normal physics object that I put in there and left it at an angle so that when these doors open up, it would fall out. So that technically has nothing to do with the jump scare. The jump scare itself is literally just triggering the animation and the sound effect. However, when you're playing this game and in a dark environment in a scary house, and you go to investigate stuff, boom, it does its job quite well. So that's the new system. It's not implemented in none of the levels yet, besides this test area. It's pretty much what I'm working on now, is just going in all the levels and adding different jump scares and things like that. It's not pertinent to the gameplay, but it does make a good environment. And those type of animations will be used for a lot of things. Like, for instance, like I could have a creature animate, come around a corner real quick and just jump up over the steps. Anything cool like that. And it's going to get even more technical to as they the creature might jump through that window, but then I'll actually spawn that creature back there, so you'll be be an enemy. Another thing that's going to be part of the jump scares is physics objects moving. So there'll be the old standard explosion one. So you'll come in an area like this, you got all this nice Tupperware and all this plates and such. So if you'll trigger something, and it'll be an explosion of physics, so all these objects will just fly around with a loud noise. Pretty scary. And then the other one, of course, is just something like levitating and floating. Might do the old eggs cracking and cooking on the floor or something, just like in Ghostbusters, something cool like that. But that's kind of, that works towards the feel of the game, and should bring it to more enjoyable. And then there'll be, I'm working on like these objects too, perfect for that kind of thing, explosion everywhere. And there will be physics objects. You'll be hit a chair and move certain things around, not everything, but be a whole lot more physics engagements. Like for instance, this whole area is going to be engagements. But yeah, and let me see. I think that's it on here. Oh, there's another thing. Alright, so let's go on to here. Alright. You got Shady Town. This is the final type of map, which is the large map. Higher danger, which just means that there are more ambient enemies that are about just doing their things. You get close enough in their territory, they'll attack, and then they're always there. Difficulty, bit high. It is a little bit harder. Definitely much harder when you're playing it solo, and you do have more time in this one. So, but there are other interesting things. Takes a little bit longer to load. It is about 4 times the size of the normal, the small levels, and twice as big as the medium levels. So there is quite a good amount of area to explore. Oh, and I guess I can call out here too. Yeah, on all the levels that support vehicles to actually be in them, not like the driving, not like that. So don't get your hopes up in the driving, but that aren't like the cave, or if you're in some other area, there are vehicles, and everything has been consolidated into one action center. So you can, after you find the body clue, you can examine here, you can process your crystals here, you can change your class, ammo, craft traps, and summon the boss here. Did that for a few reasons, just to take away some of the clutter, but it also just makes it a little bit easier, especially if it's in the heat of the moment, you need to come change your ammo or do something like that. So, okay, so the larger maps, I'll talk about them a little bit while I run around and kind of just play it. Again, larger maps have a lot more area to explore. And there's one of the random creatures. Just bring him over here. Spider looking thingy. Pretty creepy. But in order to not make it crazy difficult to find like the corpse and stuff, the body and most crystals and things will either they'll be around these areas that just generally make sense. They won't just be out in the bushes where you'll never be able to find. So, and I bet you the doors could be locked. Oh no, it's open. And again, this one still hasn't had the physics objects yet, but it will get them just like all the rest of the places. So most of these tables and things, you can knock them over. I need to go get a class. But yeah, so you'll do the same thing you do in the other levels. You'll search for clues. It's just a larger area to explore. And then you'll eventually find the clues and summon the boss, or wait till it spawns and kill it, whatever. However, once you kill the boss, the world boss portal will spawn. Now, the world boss is the concept I came up with to fill these big areas and also to give the gameplay a little bit more oomph to it. So what that is after you kill the boss, essentially the portal will be ready to be activated. How it works in here is it essentially is going to teleport you to the area where the world boss is, and each one of these large areas will have its own specific world boss. This particular one has Gluttony, which is a large beast, obviously a fat one, kind of going off the deadly sins for the name, but it is that. And also there's a little dude spawn, a bunch of ghosts, a bunch of zombies out here too. I had a few more of those. But yeah, so the world boss will function quite a bit different than the normal bosses. Normal bosses, they do have their specials. So the normal bosses have their normal, after you get their life down, they do their thing. The world boss is a bit different. So, for instance, I'll just talk about the Gluttony boss. It has 3 stages of combat. It has a tremendous amount of health. It does its standard attacks, like run up on you, it'll hit you and all that stuff. However, when its life gets down low, it's gonna trigger it triggers the next phase of the boss. And what the boss is gonna do in the next phase, at least for the glutton right now, is random. It really depends on what it chooses to do, and it can choose from one of three things. First thing is it can choose to actually call like meteors from the sky. So when it does that, like, and over there is actually, there's the portal that'll open, and behind there is where it's at. But when it does the meteors, there's about 60 seconds, give or take, that meteors are going to be falling from the sky in that area. There's a little fiery indicator on the ground that kind of spawns almost a millisecond, but a second or two right before the meteor hits, so that gives you time to move. If it hits you, it's going to damage you. But also, once the meteor destroys itself, there's a chance that it will actually drop health or ammo. So then it's a way to replenish you in a combat, because it's going to be a longer battle. So that's the first thing it can pick. The second thing it could pick is kind of like poison blood. That essentially is going to fill the map up, that area. And when that happens, at the same time, pillars 3 in this case will arise from the center or in the area and give you somewhere to essentially get on, because the way this works, locked. So the way this works is the blood will damage you over time. So if you stay in there, you're going to damage, and eventually you could die. So you find those, jump on those, and then kind of wait it out. That one will probably last a little bit less than the meteor one. At the same time, if you could definitely die from it if you don't find a space fast enough. So not as hectic as the meteor, but still quite deadly. And then the third one is a pillar will protrude from the center of the combat area, which is kind of like a big circle, and it will randomly shoot these electric bolts in all directions, and you have to essentially dodge them. So it kind of makes these bosses a little bit more interactive, a little bit more to do than just holding your gun and shooting them. Because during this time as well, the main boss is invulnerable to attacks. So, and this boss will do it twice, and he is random what he chooses. So he could choose, the meteor twice, the blood twice, whatever. Oh, and I didn't have ammo. And this is another one of the area creatures, is wolves. Again, there's wolves, there's these spider ones, and then there's a zombie. This one essentially has both of them, but it's random too. So it could be just all wolves, could be all spiders, could all zombies. You never really know what you're gonna get. I bet you that. Oh, there's a crystal, right? Yeah. So you never know what you're gonna get. So basically, it's kind of hard to plan, which makes it good for the randomness. And okay, while I do this, or get this video done, don't make it too long. Another thing on these larger levels, there is also a optional mini boss. This is not implemented yet in here. I have the area set up for it, but that's going to get implemented probably after release. Mainly because it's not important to the gameplay right now, but it'll add a little bit more to do. And so for this level, for example, there's a cave system that you can unlock and go in. You can't do it now, but you will be able to. The cave is fully in. It's under the map. And what happens is the cave is going to be full of cultists in this instance. In this one, they're static, which means they will always be there. The particular mini boss probably will change, but the area is full of these, and they won't respawn after you kill them. So essentially, you unlock the door, go down in the tunnel, which goes from one side to the other, kill all the cultists, and one of two things: either you do that first, and you kill the cultists before they even summon the mini boss, and you'll still get the rewards and all that good stuff, which will come in later. Or you don't get to them in time, and they've already summoned it, and you kill it, and you know you get your rewards. Just a little bit harder. Totally optional. However, it will probably add a little buff to the world boss fight. And again, you'll have to essentially do that. Oh, this is luck. Ghost is right here. Good. You'll have to, you'll have to do it because once you kill the main boss, then you won't have the option to kill that one. So it's all based on the time. So it gives you a little bit of a push to do that. And let me get back over here. I found everything except for the body. I don't think I found the body. But anyways, you've seen how the game plays, so you should pretty much know. I'll show you another thing when I get a little bit of safety that I updated. Alright, if you look down here at the clues, this probably will be temporary. I'm gonna update this later. But the clues, I wanted them to be a little bit more harder to figure out, but it's kind of complicated being the way the bosses are without specifically saying it. So the creature you seek is human but now cursed. That's an easy one to tell it's cursed, but the other one, it inspired others to follow doing its bidding. You may think that's mesmerizing because they could do that. In this instance, it's group. During some tests and some gameplay, I did notice people had some trouble with that, and I can totally understand because I created this, so I understand what it means. But if you don't, then you keep getting it wrong, and that's not fun. Putting in the wrong creature, going there, getting prepped for whatever, and yeah, not having the right tool. So that's updated as well. Other than that, the single player demo has been updated a lot, jump scares and things like that. Did tweak the rifle here a little bit. Instead of having 64 rounds like it originally had per clip, I updated that to be a little bit lower because it was kind of OP. So it's 32 now, and a little bit slower fire rate. Again, it was making so all the other weapons were obsolete. And there will be a specific use case for the pistol. Right now it is kind of obsolete. It's actually more powerful than the other ones, but it is, lower clip range, and the shotgun itself is more powerful if you're closer. But yeah, all those will be tweaked later. But again, that's pretty much it for this time. The video is probably going to get a little bit more scarce until after release of the demo. That should really give us a good idea of what people think about it. Hoping that people see it, understand, or get an idea for what it's going to be for multiplayer, and wishlist it, and potential to help with just knowing where we stand. And then again, either way, the game is ready for technically ready for release now, but we're going to hold off till July. Get some more people looking at the demo. Maybe we'll continue tweaking and just fleshing out the worlds. That's pretty much where we're at. If you like what you see, again, like the video. By all means, subscribe for more videos. And yeah, thanks for taking a look.